Hello everyone, I am Faith Godbold from A Touch of Faith. Welcome to my channel. This is my Valentine's Day Wreath Kit number 1 for 2022. In this video, I show you how to create this beautiful wreath. Oh, and make sure you watch until the end because I show you how to add in some beautiful pics to embellish your wreath. If you'd like to purchase this kit, be sure to check out my website or Etsy shop linked in the description box below. And while you're at it, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you receive notifications when we add new tutorials. Okay, let's get started. Together. So as you can see, I have not cut any materials yet. I actually just took my material straight out of the box. First of all, I'd love to know if you purchased this kit, and if you did, be sure to comment yes, let me know you purchased. If you've made your wreath, let me know that also. I want to see your pictures and see what it looks like. If you have not yet created yours, feel free to create right along with me, or you can go back and watch on the replay. And the first thing I always like to do is we're going to begin by prepping our material. So let's go ahead and cut our mesh. So I'm going to move everything else for just a moment. And I brought some additional materials. I hadn't brought in my tub yet. I keep all of my supplies for each holiday and season in bins. So I literally just found the Valentine supplies and I brought those in today. So we might open that and see if there's anything inside the box that we want to use for additional embellishments. And of course, that's going to be totally optional if you have things that you want to add. Okay, so let's go ahead and open our mesh. And we're going to cut our mesh today using a rotary cutter. So I am just layering. Y'all know I love to do this. I am layering my 2 rolls on top of each other so that I can cut 2 at a time. That's just my little tip. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that's a tip I always like to share when I can. So since we're using the rotary cutter, we're just going to stack our mesh. All right, and then I'm going to unroll it. And I'm using a cutting mat that's 24 by 36. If you need a cutting mat, feel free to check out my affiliate link. I have an entire list of links whereby you can check out material. All right, so we're going to use our rotary cutter. And let's go ahead and cut our mesh. And we're going to cut it into 30-inch pieces, and we need 18 total pieces. So since we are stacking our mesh, we only have to cut 9 times, and that's what I love about stacking. So we're just going to cut at 30 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to unroll again. And let's cut at 30 inches. And this part goes pretty quick when you do it this way. All right, that should be all of them. So notice by the time you're finished, you'll have about this much left. So you can see if this were 2 complete rolls, by doing our 18 cuts at the 30 inches, we have used about 540 inches of it. So we still have roughly 180 inches left. That could be potentially another project. All right, so now that our mesh is cut, let's go ahead and talk about our wreath form. So this is a 14-inch wire wreath form, and we are going to need to add the chenille stems to it so that we can attach our mesh. So what we're going to do for this is I will need 18 of these chenille stems or pipe cleaners, and we're going to attach 3 per section. And so essentially what I like to do, and if you've seen any of my videos before, you know how I'm going to do this, but there are 6 sections on your wire form, and each section is made of 4 wires. And I like to call the separators for each section brackets. So we are going to take our pipe cleaner And we will place our very first pipe cleaner. I like to fold it in half so I can find the midpoint. And then we're going to put it around rings 1 and 2, the inside rings. And we're going to place it right in the middle, just like so. So I always bring it forward, making sure it's half. And then we're going to give it a couple of twists, just like so. Okay. And that makes one of our pipe cleaners. Now, as long as that bottom doesn't move, you know it's going to stay pretty secure. Sometimes if you want to, you can even squeeze it at the very bottom. And that ensures that it's not going to move on you, just like that. Okay. Now, for the other 2 pipe cleaners, what we're going to do is we're going to use that pipe cleaner we just added, and imagine there's an invisible line here. So create like a straight line and then use your bracket line. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wire rings 3 and 4 in the center. So the center would be about right here. So I'm going to take my pipe cleaner in half, come around rings 3 and 4, and I'm centering this pipe cleaner in between the previous pipe cleaner, if there were a straight line drawn, and the bracket. See how I did that? And then for the remaining pipe cleaner, we're going to do the same thing. Take that same pipe cleaner that's in the inner middle, pretend there's a straight line, use your bracket, and then we're going to eyeball the middle, and that is where we want our pipe cleaner to go. All right, and see, just that quickly, we have wired up our wreath form. Okay, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments. All right, and then here are our leftover pipe cleaners. And for this particular technique, we are going to create ruffles that are curled. So they are called cruffles. So I'm going to take my mesh, separate it out. So I'm using the mesh curl side up, and I'm using my scissors to hold it down. And what we're going to do for this is take my mesh, and I'm literally going to make my first curl almost like a fold. So I'm going to almost flatten it just like so, because I want it pretty straight. And then I'm going to roll 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's no right or wrong. You could roll 3 times, you could roll 7 times. The more mesh, the more you can roll it, but I just want to have a little roll on the end. And then I'm going to clip it and rotate it around to the other side and do the same thing. So flatten that first one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far, all we've done is just roll each end. And then now what I'm going to do is a cruffle by ruffling up the middle. So I'm eyeballing the middle, and I can tell the middle, because of the pattern, is right here. If you can't easily identify the middle and you have a cutting mat, you can use your mat to identify the middle, but you want to make sure you go straight up the center. And what I'm going to do is use my thumb and my index finger, and I'm literally going to walk the mesh. The rest of my fingers are guiding. So I'm walking the mesh straight up the middle, just like so. And when I get to that chip clip, I'm going to unclip it, release it. And y'all, look at this beautiful cruffle. Oh my goodness, I'm loving the way it looks with all of the metallic. And this mesh is like an ombre because the color is transitioning from red to white to pink. Absolutely love this. Woohoo! What do y'all think? And then we're going to start with our inside pipe cleaner. So I'm just going to fold the outers out of my way. And I want to place my cruffle in just like so, where the curl is going out to the left and down. Okay, you could place it in where your curl is going up and down, but I'm doing left to right. Either one is fine. It's your personal preference. And then we're going to give it a couple of twists. So I'm doing about 2 or 3 twists. And that is how we're going to do this, y'all. Let me zoom in. Look at that. That's going to make a gorgeous base, y'all. I love it already. Okay. And so all we're going to do now is just repeat that. So let's keep going all the way around. So we're going to Do it again. So curl side up. I have my scissors holding it so it doesn't continue to roll back toward me. Flatten my first one. And then I'm going to roll 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clip it. All right. And let's do it again. So flatten. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And scrunch right up that middle. Just ruffle straight up through the middle. When you meet the end, take off your chip clip. And then I always like to make sure it's even. So for instance, this one looks like it got off a little. So I'm just pulling it until it looks even. Kind of looks like a butterfly wing. Okay. So you just want to make sure it's even. It's not a big deal if it's not perfect. That's okay. But I just want to make sure it looks pretty even like that. All right. And then I'm going to come straight down to the pipe cleaner below it and do an entire section at a time. And what's going to happen is the mesh will overlap just like so. And so as you're doing it, you can position your mesh so that you can still access the pipe cleaners. That's the main thing. But you can position the mesh as you go. All right, y'all like that? What do you think? So we're going to keep going. All right, so this is our completed base. So we cut our mesh, we prepared our wreath form, and we have created 18 cruffles. So what do you think? That's what we have. Okay. So while we are at it, let's just kind of take a look at our signs again, just so we can see which one we might want. So there's the Love Shack. And oh my goodness, I am loving that one. So that's one of our sign options we can choose from. And then our other one we have is the Loads of Love. So be thinking about which sign you like. Okay, so those are our 2 sign options. All right, so let's get our ribbon. And we are going to cut our ribbon. We have all 2.5 inch. So we're going to cut our ribbon at, let's do 13 inches. All right, so let's move our wreath. So I'm going to layer my ribbon. I've not done this, I don't think. So I'm laying my ribbon on top of each other as far as I can go. All right, so let's see if we can do this. So we're going to layer our ribbon just like this. And it shouldn't move. I mean, if you needed to put something down to hold it, you could. But I'm literally unrolling it off my table so that in just a second, I'll be ready to pull it all together. But this is going to save us some time. I'm all about saving time, right? All right. So here we go. I have all 4 ribbons on top of each other. Hope you can see that in the camera. I'm going to zoom you out for just a minute so you can see. This is how I did it. It's running off my table, just like so. All right. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take my scissors. So we need, we have 4 ribbons. So we need 3 of each. So we're going to cut them at 13 inches. So here's my 13 right here. So I'm going to take my scissors and go right under and cut at 13 inches. And look, just like that, I made a cut. So that's one whole bundle. Now, if I keep my bundle together, I can do my second cut at 26 inches. So let's leave it at 13 just so you can see that I don't even really have to move the ribbon yet. All right, see how I'm doing that? And then now, and this is the ribbon, you get 3 yards in your kit. Here we go. I'm going to cut it at 26. Make sure you don't cut your fingers, of course. And there we go. And now I'm going to pull the ribbon one final time. And you can see I've unrolled it. So it's pulling, pulling, pulling. Stacked on top. And then I'm going to cut it one final time at the 13-inch mark. I'm loving this because do you see how fast I was able to cut my ribbon? And look at all the leftover. I mean, that's a lot of ribbon left over for our bow and whatever else we might want to do for our future projects. So I'm just going to put that to the side. So let's go ahead and see if we can dovetail our ends. Since I've already gotten the ribbon sorted in groups of 4, I'm going to see if I can dovetail all at once. I don't want to risk like folding it and dovetailing. So let's dovetail one entire end. So we're going to take our ribbon, and then I'm going to fold it in half. Hold it carefully since I have 4 pieces of ribbon. And I'm going to cut from the folded end to the outside open end. Okay, so I'm going to cut at a triangle, like at an angle. And the deeper the cut, the more of a V you will have. And look, that is how easy it is to dovetail. All right, so let's do it on this side, making sure the ribbon are even. Lining them all up, folding in half, and then taking the folded side and cutting towards the outside open edge, just like that. And just that fast, look at there, we have already dovetailed. Okay. All right, let's do that again. So I'm hoping that I'm showing you some ways to save time. I love little tricks and tips, things that can help you, especially as you're creating your wreaths. All right, so let's fold and cut from the fold to the outside open edge. And just like that, you're done. Now you could do these individually. It just takes longer. But if you feel pretty comfortable, try this. This will save you some time. And I'm just making sure my ribbon is straight. All right, so my black was not all the way lined up, so I'm fixing that first because I don't want to mess up my fold and cut too much or too little. Okay, and there we have it, and we're done. So I'm thinking I like the order that they're in. So we'll do truck, then we'll do the black and white check, we'll do the hearts, then we'll do the black and white check again. So let's do them in that order. So it just happened to work out. Okay, so I'm going to stack all the ribbon. Okay, and now we are ready to start adding them in. So let's start by only doing ribbon on the outside. We'll see if we're going to need any later for the inside. So we're going to take our ribbon, we're going to fold it in half. All right, and then where that fold is, we are going to scrunch straight up the middle. And then we're going to add that ribbon into the outside pipe cleaner. I am not opening that pipe cleaner, but I'm just adding it straight in the way it already is. And there's our first ribbon. Oh my goodness, that looks so beautiful. I love it. All right, next ribbon, same thing. I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, crease it. And then I use that crease to help me determine where my scrunch is. And then we're going to lift the pipe cleaner and just drop it in and give it a couple of twists. And then you want to take your fingers and just kind of fan your ribbon outward, just like that. Now you could do 2 ribbons in your pipe cleaner if you want. Sometimes I will pair 2 and then I separate them out. But for this one, I'm just doing 1 ribbon per pipe cleaner. And we're repeating in the order that we already decided on. Okay, just like so. So this part should go pretty fast because we saved some time on the way we cut the ribbon and the way we dovetailed it. And you want to be careful when you're handling your wreath and your ribbon. I'll tell you, depending upon the type of ribbon, sometimes if you handle it too much, it will start to unravel. I've seen that happen on some very fine ribbon. So just be careful. I try to go ahead and place it in and then, fan it out, and then I leave it alone. So make sure, you kind of do that too. You just want to be careful. Okay. And then now we're back to the truck ribbon. so this is our completed base with our ribbon. And oh my goodness, the pops of the black and white on the mesh, absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so let's see. We're going to make a bow now. And we're going to grab our ribbon, slide this over a bit. And we should have some ribbon left over, as you can see. So we are making the Valentine wreath kit. We're almost done. We're going to add our bow, and I'm just checking. Let's see what a 5-inch loop will look like. So we're going to try that. And we will prep our sign. We'll get our sign added. And I brought in a few extra things that I had in my Valentine bin. So I actually just brought the whole bin up. So we'll see if we want to add anything else. All right, ladies. So I started by dovetailing the ends. And then I'm using my Easy Bow Maker. This is also on that shopLikeFaith.com site about how to get one of these bow makers. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do an 8-inch tail. And so the way the Easy Bow Maker works is we are going to build the bow on the bow maker, and I'm going to fluff it as we go. And then what I like to do, I'm using the 8-inch marker here on the Easy Bow Maker to help me measure. All right. And then I'm going to scrunch it right here at the center mark, because this lets me know the middle, like where my fold will be. So I'm going to scrunch it right there. And then when you make a bow, y'all, it's all about flipping, looping, and twisting. So I'm going to twist it, and I always twist bottom up. Okay. And you'll see that as you get into more advanced techniques of bow making, that bottom up is very important. Now, I have to stop for a minute, y'all, because look, the truck ribbon is different. I can't just loop it right now, because look what's going to happen. My trucks are going to be upside down. So you have a couple of ways around that. Okay. So if I'm looping at 5 inches, I'm going to use my cutting board. So there's 5 inches right there. So do you see how I'm looping it at 5 inches? All right, so there's 5. But then I need to loop it again at 5. So here's how I do mine, y'all. I go ahead and do it like this. So I took that loop, and then I'm folding this side, and I need to do another 5-inch loop. Okay, so really I need to go from 10 to 20 on my cutting mat. All right, just like so. This is the easy way, I would say. All right. Do you see how I did that? And then what I'm going to do is cut this, and I don't need to cut all of that. So I'm going to cut it right here at the middle. So the middle is going to be about 15 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 16 to give me a little extra, because I don't like to waste ribbon. Okay. Now I'm going to hold this off to the side for just a minute. I'm going to put it right there. So here's what you can do now. So now that we have our bow ready, let's do the tail. Okay. Now, since I'm making more of like a funky bow, I want my tails to start, and then we'll come back and finish with the other tail. So I'm going to do my 8 inches. So here we go again, 8 inches. I'm going to scrunch. And then here's my little secret, y'all. Look, I'm just going to drop it in, and I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to cut about a little, maybe an extra inch right there, just like that, because I want my trucks going in the same direction. Now I'm going to take my bow loops, all right, making sure I have it, and I'm going to measure from 10 to 20. All right, the 15 mark is my middle, so watch. I'm going to scrunch up the middle, and look, I'm going to drop it straight down. That's how you make sure your loops are all going the same way. Do you see that? When you have this printed ribbon that has a design like this, and you don't want your trucks, or it could be like animals, whatever's on your design. If you don't want it upside down, that's how you control it. Okay. And then I'm going to fluff as I go. So I'm going to make my loops go opposite. This will be hidden, and tails go opposite. So now I need to do one more tail. All right. And we need 8 inches again. So let's measure down here. And I'm going to make it about 9 inches. Okay, so here is 8. Let's make it about 9. So we have a little bit to work with in that center. All right. And then now I want my trucks to come out this way. So I'm going to dovetail this in. It just simplifies it, makes it easy so that you know how to create bows that have your printed designs going the same way. And then now I'm going to scrunch up here, drop it down, and I know I want it to be set 8 inches. And then now I'm going to make this tail come out that way. That's the trick behind your printed ribbon. That's one way. And you can see I have a little bit left over. So if we want to add some in the middle, we can. All right. So let's get our next ribbon. Now we don't have to worry about that because it's just all the same. So this time, let's dovetail it. And we're going to come in about 1/2 inch each time on our tail and on our loops. So let's do 7.5 inches. So I'm going to scrunch on my mat just so I can see. All right, I'm going to twist. Remember I said bottoms up. All right, checking my measurement on my Easy Bow Maker. Now, since the truck tail is going to the bottom, I'm going to make the black and white tail go to the top. So I like to have my tails and loops doing opposites. All right, this time we're going to create a 4.5 inch loop. So let's loop it. Okay, 4.5 inches. So I'm using my left hand to measure and I'm using my right hand to pull. All right, there's 4.5. And then now I need to do a twist. So you want to twist hard right here in the middle. And I have learned that when you're making a bow, if you don't have that twist nice and tight and straight, then your bow is not going to turn out as nice. Okay, so there's 4.5. See how I'm checking it against the ruler. So since the truck loop is coming down to the bottom, I'm going to make the black and white loop go up to the top. Okay, so I'm doing the opposite. All right, let's loop it again. Okay, so I'm checking my center, making sure everything is straight. All right, we're going to drop it in. There's no need to twist because we're only going to do one loop each time of each color on each side. So I'm checking my measurement, straightening everything, and there we have it. 4.5 inches. Okay. And then we will cut our ribbon and we'll cut it to 7.5. All right, right there. And since this tail is already up here, I'm going to pull this loop down so that the loops have an opportunity to go opposite each other. And then I'm going to pull this tail down. And let's go ahead and dovetail it. Now this ribbon is linen. It's not staying down. So I'm going to use my scissors just to hold that for just a minute. And then I have another pair of scissors I'm going to use to cut and do my dovetail. So sometimes if I can't finagle it like that, you'll see me wait and dovetail. Okay, there we go. All right, does that help y'all understand how to make your bows? Okay, so just like that. And look how that bow is shaping up already. I'm loving it. And see, we have a good bit of ribbon still left. If I measure it out, we have about 32 inches left. So enough to create a couple more tails if we wanted. Or I could save it for another project. Okay, let's keep going. Heart ribbon is next. All right, so we're going to dovetail it. And this time we will do 7-inch tails. All right, so let's measure right there. And I'm using my left hand where I have it to know where to scrunch. So I'm scrunching up that middle. Let's give it a twist. Since our black and white tail is at the top, we're going to bring this tail toward the bottom. So let me check the measurement again. Okay, it was a little over 7, so I pulled it in. There we go, so 7 inches. All right, and then this time we're going to make 4-inch loops. All right, so loop it. Use your left hand, find the 4 inches, and then I'm going to twist right there, nice and tight. Checking my measurement again, and it's still at 4 inches. And then I'm going to do my final loop, and we're looping it at 4 inches. Okay. So I love the Easy Bow Maker. I have the Bow Dabber too. Bow Dabber, I'm not able to fluff it while I make it. So I really personally, just for me, prefer the Easy Bow Maker because I like to fluff my bow and see how it's shaping up. And look at how much ribbon we have left, y'all. So we have almost a yard of ribbon left because every time we are going in now with our bow, we're left with a little bit more ribbon. So that's enough to do more ribbon tails if we want, or you can save it for another project. All right, so I'm going to pull this loop down, and then let's take this tail up. So we're doing the opposites each time on our loops and our tails. And then we have one more left. One more left to go. All right, let's do our last and final ribbon. Some more black and white. Check, but with the hearts this time. And we're going to do 6.5-inch tails. So I'm just dovetailing the end. Let's measure 6.5 inches. Let's give it a twist. All right. Now this is a little long, so I'm going to bring it in. All right, because we want 6.5 inches. There we go. And we're going to make this tail go opposite of the last tail. So I'm going to take it up to the top. And then let's do 3.5 inches on the loops. So are y'all doing good today? Those of you just joining, we're having a blast making this Valentine wreath. And if this is your first time catching me live, welcome. I usually go live on my main page on Tuesdays and Sundays. And then I go live in my private group every Sunday at 5:00 p.m. Eastern. So if you're enjoying what we're doing today and you want to learn and create on a regular basis, I'd love to have you join Faith's Creative Circle. We are a private group. We have a wonderful group of ladies, and the Lord blessed me to start that group last year. So the information for subscribing and joining is found in that link that you see posted, the www.learnfromfaith.com. And yeah, I'd love to have some new members if you want to check it out. All right, y'all, we're doing 6 inches. I think that's what I said. Let's see. Yep, 6 inches on the tails. And look at all the ribbon we have. We have over a yard of ribbon remaining, a little over a yard. So again, you can add in some more ribbon tails on the inner because we did not do that. Or like I said, you could have ribbon. You could do a second bow even if you wanted. So lots of ribbon remaining for you to create. Or add additional ribbon to this current wreath. Okay. All right. So let's get our pipe cleaner and we're going to put our bow on the wreath. I'm going to show y'all what it looks like. So I took my pipe cleaner and folded it in half. And then what I like to do is kind of press everything down. And then I lift from the bottom. And I want to lift all of the mini pieces because remember the trick with the truck ribbon. We want to make sure we include all of that. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to create and keep a separation where the ribbon was on the Easy Bow Maker. And I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and drop it straight down that middle. Okay, holding everything nice and tight. Then I'm going to flip it over on the back because I want to make sure the pipe cleaner is around the base of that bow. See how I'm doing it? And then I pull the pipe cleaner and I kind of pull against myself, kind of like tug of war. And I'm going to twist just the bow. So I'm holding my hand steady with the pipe cleaner, twisting just the bow. Okay. And then once I've done that, I am going to place it on my table. And I want to get everything kind of flat again as far as the layers. So I'm going back through and I'm opening the loops, and we'll do this again on the actual wreath. Okay, so I'm opening the layers, separating everything back out the way it was before I just spun it in my hand. Okay, see how I'm just taking my fingers, and you can take your fingers and shape those layers. Okay, pulling the tails away from the loops so you can see the loops. The loops are still opposite each other. Tails are opposite. Tail, loops. Okay. What do y'all think about the bow? All right, so this is what we have. So let's get our wreath. All right, so this is our beautiful base. If you're just coming in, this is what we created. So we took our mesh and we have created a beautiful base with that ombre, red, pink, and white. We added our ribbon tails all around. So our ribbon tails are cut at 13 inches and we cut 3 of each color. And now look, y'all, we have our bow, and we're thinking about adding our bow about right there, I would think. So somewhere about right there. And then we have a choice of 2 signs. And at first I was having a hard time choosing, but I think I have made up my mind. So let me move the bow for just a minute. So we have this beautiful love shack, and y'all, I am loving these house signs. I love, love, love them. So if you're interested in this sign, even if you don't want the kit, the signs are available on our website. This is Love Shack. And then look at the other one. Loads of love. But I think I'm going to do the loads of love. All right, so let's do a couple of things to prepare. So we're going to place our bow right here. So let's start by getting rid of this pipe cleaner. We don't need it. So let me get some wire cutters. Just snip that off. So we have cut those down, and let me show you what I'm doing in case you've not ever done this. After I cut them down, I'm taking the end and I'm just pressing it down just like that so it's completely hidden. Okay. All right, so let's prep our sign, and then we're going to get this added, and we'll see if we're going to add any other little fun embellishments, just some stuff that I had already. So I'm going to cut the string that came on the sign. Okay. And in your kit, you have 2 cable tie mounts or mounting squares. So what we're going to do is add the little foam piece to the back. And I always like to add a little bit of glue. I use Gorilla Glue. You could also add some E6000 adhesive. So I keep that on hand as well. So you could add that to your square just to make sure. I like to have a little added security. So I'm going to peel it from the sticker. And then I am taking the mounting square and I'm going to attach the foam to the back. And let's do that on both of them. All right, then we're going to do that on the other side for the other one, just like so. And press it in. And then now we're going to peel off the sticker backing on the other side. All right. And then let's position our mounts one on each side, left to right. If you were attaching your sign more top to bottom, you could put your squares there, but we're going to do left to right. Okay, so it all depends on how you're attaching it to your wreath. That's how you decide where you want your squares to go. Okay, so let's do the same thing over here, just like that. Now, if you're going to use E6000, I recommend you prep your sign in advance and leave it to the side. This is not something you can then quickly attach to your wreath. Since we're using hot glue, we'll be good to go. So I'm going to grab 2 pipe cleaners. So what am I doing? I'm just adding a little bit of glue around the exterior of the mounting square because I don't want that mounting square to slide. All right, so you see how fast it dries? So let's do the other side. all nice and dry. So now we're going to take our pipe cleaner. So since we're going left to right, I'm going to go in the mounting square left to right, just like that. And I'm going to give it a couple of twists. All right. And then let's do the same thing on this side, left to right. And I'm going halfway to make it even. And then I'm going to give it a couple of twists. Okay, so far so good. So we're going to place our sign more along the lower end where we have this pipe cleaner and this one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to feed the pipe cleaner right down through the mesh. I'm going to zoom it in right here so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to feed it right down and I'm going to go around. So one pipe cleaner will go on the left of this pipe cleaner that's already folded, and the other one will go around it on the right. So I'm going to go straight in and I'm going to lift my wreath, reaching underneath, and I have it in my hand. And once I have it, I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Okay, this part's hard to show you, so I hope I'm doing a good job of talking you through it. Let's see if I can show you now. All right, so if you can see that, I'm going to zoom in. So do you see how I went around the base of that pipe cleaner that already existed? Just like that. See it? And now what I'm going to do is pull it straight down, checking my mesh as I do. And I'm not going to pull it too tight because I don't want to sink my mesh. Okay, so I'm going to pull it loosely and I'm going to just start tightening it a little on the back. And I'll show you what I'm doing, but I'm going around rings 1 and 2, just where that pipe cleaner was. And I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, I'm going to twist it loosely in case I need to adjust. All right, now what I like to do is I go back. So there's my center again. So my sign is still straight. Always check yourselves. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So here's the pipe cleaner right here where my hand is. And I'm going to do that same thing. So I'm going around the pipe cleaner on both sides with each of those ends. All right, so let me show you what I'm doing. I'm going to turn it over carefully. So this is what the back looks like. So the pipe cleaner that I'm holding on to, this is my pipe cleaner. All right, and notice I'm just going around that existing pipe cleaner that was already there. So I'm just going around carefully and giving it a couple of twists. All right, and you can see I did that same thing over here. Now I'm going to turn it back over so I can make sure everything is straight before I finish tightening it. And I'll do that in just a minute. And so far, everything looks good. If you need to pull mesh out, now's the time to do that. And you can kind of tell what needs to be adjusted. Okay, so you can pull mesh out. Okay, but I think I'm loving that. What do y'all think? All right, and then now let's take our bow and we're going to add our bow right here at the top, doing the same thing, going around that pipe cleaner. So I'm going to turn it around so I can see. And I'm going to make sure my trucks are straight. So that's how I know how to place this. So the trucks need to be aligned straight. And then I'm going to go right around this pipe cleaner. Same thing I just showed you. I'm doing it at the very top. So I'm going around the pipe cleaner each time. All right, I'm going to start on the bottom this time because I can't get my hand around the other side. There we go. And now I'm going to go around the top and I'm going to pull it, but I'm not going to pull too hard because if I do, I'm going to sink my bow. All right, I'm giving it a couple of twists. I don't want it to be too tight. I'll check it again in just a minute. All right, if it's too tight, I'll know it in just a minute once I start fluffing. And now I want to fluff everything back out. So I'm going to look at my loops and look at my tails. And if anything is hanging too long, I can adjust those. Like that one, I may adjust if I can't keep it from being on the sign. And I just take my time, y'all. Rotate the wreath around. And remember, this is wire ribbon, so you can pull it. So I'm pulling the bow off of the sign so that it's not impeding my sign. All right, and we're going to do one layer at a time, and I'm going from the bottom. So far, I feel pretty good about the truck ribbon. Okay. Now let's do the black and white. And I'm just taking my fingers and opening the layers back up. Okay. And then I'm angling the ribbon down. Okay, here's the black and white. See how I'm putting my hand in it? All right, let the truck come here. This one we may cut, but if I can pull it off to the side, then I won't have to cut it. So I try to do that first. Okay, but we'll see. All right, now let's do our hearts. So the hearts were next. So I'm going to pull the hearts over this way and this way. Okay, and then here is the tail. So let's see how we like that. Let's turn it around so we all can see. Ooh, it looks pretty. So now that we have all of that added, this is the end of the wreath as far as all of your materials are concerned. What I'm going to show you next, these are some things that I have in my personal stash. We are about to do that. So just to kind of recap, this is what the completed wreath would look like if you stopped right here and did nothing else. And I'm very happy with this, y'all. I love the way this turned out. I love the gorgeous colors and all the designs. But we're going to add a little bit of extra. And y'all, let me show you what I found. I found some of these little hearts. And look at them. They are speckled. Look at there. Oh my gosh. I'm like so happy. I can't even stand it. And it makes me think about the hearts that are coming out of the truck. So we're going to add a few of these in. We're going to do 3 of those. And ladies, look, I actually also have them in pink. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to cut these apart because they are on like a little stem together, tied with some ribbon. I still have my glue gun on. So we're going to cut these apart. I'm just using my other wire cutters. These are heavy duty. Okay. And we are not going to need 12. There are 12 pipe cleaners on the outside, but I'm thinking of doing a heart every other pipe cleaner, which would be 6. Hence your 3 pink and 3 red. Let me grab 2 more red. And then what I'm also thinking is we will alternate the colors. So we'll do 1 red, 1 pink, 1 red, 1 pink, and we'll go every other pipe cleaner. And then what I'm going to do to show you how to recycle is I'm going to cut this stem in half because we don't need all this. So I'm going to cut it about right there. And then we're going to put some hot glue on the end of this stem, just like that. And we're going to insert and create our own, just like that, into the heart. Look, we just stemmed it. Now, can I give you another little hint? Technically, you don't need a stem. You don't need a stem. You could just take your heart, put some glue on the bottom, and put the heart right there and glue it. So you don't have to have stems. I just kind of want to show you a trick. All right, so let's do that again. We're going to cut the stem down some, put some glue on the end, and then we're going to insert the end of that glued stem right there at the bottom of that heart. We're making our own, okay? All right, last one. This stem is really long, so we have a lot to work with. Put some glue on the end and put our stem. Okay, just like that. All right, so let's go ahead and take our pipe cleaners off, because at this point, I think we're done. we'll go ahead and do all that real quick, and then we'll add our hearts. All right, so let's see. We're going to add these hearts, and all we're going to do is just go around the wreath. All right, so let's put some glue on the end. Don't need a lot, just a little bit. And all I'm going to do is just insert it right there in the mesh where we have the ribbon. And so it literally is sitting nice and snug, just like that. Now, if you want yours to hang out a little more, like you could pull it out some, just like that. All right, I just cut it. All right. Putting some glue on, just like so. I'm going right there on top of that pipe cleaner that I just cut down. So it's literally resting on top of that. Now we're back to the pink. So let's put a little bit of glue on. All right, and then we're going to insert it just like so. Pressing it down. Okay. And I think this is giving it a gorgeous pop of color too. I love it. Love it, love it. All right, I need to put a little bit more glue. So I'm going to leave the stem and put the glue on it this time. All right, so right there, just going right there on top of that little stem area. So I just right there on top of that pipe cleaner is where I'm placing it and giving it a minute to set up. Okay, we have two more. It's just giving you options as you are creating, but y'all, I think we are done and I absolutely love it. Love, love, love it. So I am super excited about this one. What do you think? Okay, if you are still watching this tutorial, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. If you purchase this kit and you make this wreath, I would love to see how yours turns out. Be sure to share your photos with me online. To see more of my videos, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. To see more of my wreath designs, visit my website at www.atofaith.com. To learn how to make wreaths and so much more, join my private group at www.learnfromfaith.com. As always, be blessed. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye, everyone.